Now I would like to introduce the third speaker, Professor Tiwari from Northeastern Hills University in India. So Professor Tiwari was Dean of the Department of Environmental Studies. During his 31 years of distinguished career, served as head of department. And in addition, he has worked in the leadership role, holding several other academic and administrative positions. He is an expert on the indigenous people, forests, and biodiversity of northern East India. And he has researched, among others, in the areas of shifting agriculture, community institution, common property, resources, sacred groves, climate change, carbon sequestration, and consistent services, and bioresource conservation. So I welcome Professor Tiwari, and yes, I open the floor for your speech.
Thank you, Alexandra, for introducing me. And also, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be part of this program. The topic is very interesting. A lot has already been said. So, and can I share the slide? The As you may be knowing, my area of research has been the shifting cultivation as well as sacred forest. I have been working in this area for a very long time. Now, in my today's presentation, I wanted to deal with the typology of the forests which are being conserved and managed by the indigenous people of this region. The the Northeast India, as we know, is located in the eastern part of India, and it is surrounded by in south by Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Nepal and China. So this particular region is very important from the point of view of biodiversity, endemism, culture, etc. The region is about 70% of the region is hilly and mountainous, and about 65% of the region is under forest cover. The indigenous people are mostly they are distributed almost the whole of the northeast, but their main concentration is in the hills and mountains. So in hills and mountains where the ecosystems are fragile and the forests are the most important livelihood provider of these communities, and this area in northeast about more than 200 ethnic communities they live in this area. In India, we call the indigenous communities as in constitution, it is defined as a scheduled tribe, and they are recognized as indigenous people. Here, the definition of indigenous people is slightly different than what has been recognized by the United Nations framework. Here you do not find any exogenous people. There are no colonizers, though no people coming from outside or rest of the world who come here and live and dominate this region. But at the same time, these people have their own culture, very strong cultural beliefs, and they have their own traditions. And most of these indigenous people, they have their own languages and or the dialects. So this variability, cultural the variability or diversity, as Mr. Bhagwat has said, the cultural diversity and biological diversity, they are interlinked. Because of the high cultural diversity, we also have very high biological diversity in this region. So in this region is divided into 8 states of the country, and in these states, almost all the states, they have a large population of indigenous people. Particularly some states, the hilly and mountainous states like Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Nagaland, their population is pretty high, 80 to 90%, sometimes 60%. And therefore, and what has happened, what is noticed is that the the density of the forest, or you can say the forest cover, is maximum in the areas which are inhabited by the indigenous people. And the indigenous people, they are managing the forest. Most of the forests are actually being managed by the indigenous people. You just one glance of the region, if we take up, the region as a whole is very rich in forest cover. Total region is about 67% of the, as I said, yeah, of the region is cover is under forest cover, and some of the states like Mizoram 85%, Arunachal about 78%, and Meghalaya 75%. These are all current data. So the a large area of these states, they are under forest cover. At the same time, these states are inhabited by indigenous communities whose dependence upon the forest is pretty high. During our studies on sacred forests of this region, we along with our colleagues and some other explorers, we have explored almost whole region, and there are large number of forests, sacred forests as well in this region. And these sacred forests are not like sacred groves. They are actually forests, which which are spread in large areas. Some of them are 100, 200, or even 500 hectare, or some of them are, I have reported them at 900 hectare. So they are pretty long patches of, I mean, big patches of forest, which are all, which are being managed and conserved by the indigenous community. So the interesting part of this region is that the sacred forests are associated with the conservation practices of the indigenous people, which another interesting thing is that sometimes we are mostly I mean interested in the sacred forest, or the forests which are conserved or protected based on the religious beliefs, etc. In this region, sacred forests are only one type of the forest. There are so many other types of forests which are being conserved by and managed by the indigenous people. At the side by side with the sacred forest. So these forests are classified into different categories based on their utilization, based on their functions, roles, and who what for they have been protected. Like if you take village forest, in some of the states, or you can say most of the states, every village has a small patch of village forest, which is actually a supply forest, from where they collect the fuel wood, they collect the day-to-day requirements, but there are so many customary laws not to over harvest. And these forests are not open for other villages. They are not open for commercial purposes, but they are open for bona fide uses. Here we do not have time to elaborate on the whole the rules, regulations, or customary laws which are I mean which govern each of these type of forests. There is a, suppose we have a group of village forests. These group of village forests are larger patches of forest which which are having transboundary. They are spread in several villages and they are managed sometimes by another institution which is created for the management of these forests, which includes the people from all the villages where these forests are spread. Then we have the protected forest. Restricted forest means these forests are mm, not open for collection, not like a supply forest or village forest, but these forests can be the produce can be collected from these forests if the community or the village institutions they decide. So sometimes they are open for a particular purpose, mostly for community use, not for personal use or for any individual family's use. Then we come to the sacred forest, which we all know we have been discussing since morning. And these sacred forests are there in most of these states and not in all. They may not be available in all the villages, but they constitute a large component of this whole community forest ecosystem. There are clan forests. Then the sacred forest can also be clan forest. Sacred forest can be may be conserved by the village people, may be conserved by the clan, the group of families, or there can be clan forest. There are cemetery forest. There are also church forest in many states, many villages, region, and they have also created regeneration forest. I'm not going to discuss all these forests, but there are different typology of forests. And all these different types of forests, they have been classified based on their indigenous knowledge system and based on their needs and based on the services provided by them. The as I said, the indigenous communities, they protect and manage these forests. And for these protection and management of these forests, they have elaborate institutional arrangement, not only customary laws and rules and regulations, but also organizational setup. So there is a village council, there can be a village headman or sardar who can be head of the council. There are also clan councils, which comprises all the families of the clan. And then there will be a chief of the clan. There is village chief. In some cases, we'll have a chieftainship, where the chief is the most important decision maker, and he is sometimes he controls most of the natural resources of the village. But at the same time, there is always equity. It is available for most of the inhabitants of the village. Then village elders council. Elder in the tribal system are indigenous people. Elder elders persons of the society, they are the most respected people. They participate in the decision making, and they are part of, sometimes they head many of these institutions. So here you see only 4 types of village, I mean traditional institutions or indigenous institutions, but there are variety of them, and they vary from state to state, from sometimes when within the state. Then decisions regarding natural resource in general and forest in particular are taken by the village darbar, or the meeting of the all adult people. In many cases, only the men are allowed, but in some cases, women also participate in decision making in darbar. And the chiefs of the clans, in order to make it a sort of reduce the conflict within the village or between the clans, the chief of the clans. Suppose in one village there are 4, 5, 6 clans. They reside, they live. So all the chiefs of the clans, they are part of the decision-making process. Village elders, as I said earlier, elders are respected and they are always made part of this decision-making. And then we move to the I'll there can be so many types of institutional arrangement. I will discuss only 2 or 3 here. Say there is a Khasi community, which is one of the indigenous people, one of maybe hundreds who live in this area. So they have a larger territory like state, and then after that, that is headed by the head of the state, chief of the Hima. Hima is the territory, and then there can be a smaller territory, which is also headed by another chief. Then there can be village. They are again, there can be a number of villages. They constitute one riad, as you see here, and several riads may constitute one Hima. Then within the village, there can be so many clans. They are called here in Meghalaya or Khasi community, they are called Pur. And then the head of the clan, that person that comes. And then finally, it is the family and the head of the family. So the family is connected with the clan. Clan is connected with the village, and the village headman. Village headman is connected with the riad chief, and riad chief is connected with the Hima. So they have a very well knit the institutional arrangement which is used for decision-making process. And this is a hierarchical system. Similarly, in most of the tribes or indigenous communities, these type of arrangements are there. The one more, if you see the Garo community, Garo is another indigenous tribe of Meghalaya. Here you see that it is little bit chieftain side, and one village is headed by the Nokma. And Nokma, he will be the chief of the clan also, and he will be the village chief, and then he will consult the heads, the maternal uncle and members of the close related family, who are mostly the elders, and then all the adult males, they constitute the council, and then council takes the decision, and where all the head of the families, they are represented. So any decision relating to the management of the indigenous community managed forest, their decisions are taken in this near, you can say, near democratic manner. Similarly, I'll give one more example of the Naga community, Sumi Naga. Here, again, this is chieftainship. The chief is the most important person of the community. What he says, generally that goes, but he is not a sort of autocrat. He has a councillors, and then after that, all the village communities, they make the council. Then the head each village has got a headman who is also called sometimes Gaon Bura, and then they are connected with the clan, and clan is connected with the family. So the clan is important. Every family is consulted. Then families are bound with the clan. Clan is bound with the village village council, and village council is reported to they report to the chief. So the chief is the head of or chairman of the whole village. All the resources, village resources, including forest, natural resources, and including forest, they are governed by the chief. Then one example I wanted to present here. This is more related to the sacred groups. If some of you have read some of my publications, in Meghalaya, we have in that particular publication, we had documented 79 sacred groups, out of which 66 are located in the catchment areas of the major rivers. So that means the indigenous people, they have conserved even the sacred groups on the places where from many which are in the catchments of the river. Many of them, they are located on the origin of perennial streams. In one group of sacred groups, you will find that there are several rivers. They originate from there and they go in different directions. Large and dense groups, you can see this same sacred group which Mr. Bhagavat has shown. This is Maflang sacred group. So these are not small patches. This itself can be about 70 to 80 hectare forest and comprising of old growth trees, and they may be hundreds and hundreds of years old. They are naturally a heritage site, and several rivers originate from the, as I said, from the sacred forest. Sacred groups, they conserve nutrients, they provide so many ecosystem services. And people of the whole of Northeast region, they are dependent on forest. They collect so many produce from the forest. One glimpse of only fruits, in one village we studied, and there are variety of fruits, wild fruits, which they collect from the forest. If you move through the forest, I sometimes used to go for the field work. If I enter in the forest and start plucking few wild berries or wild fruits, by the time you come out of the forest, you are full. So they are source of food, and not only the plants and fruits they provide. These forests are impregnated in, they are interspersed with so many rivers and river streams, and these rivers, they have so many animals. These forests are also source of water, and they make the water tanks by the side of the forest, and from where they get the water for their uses. In conclusion, yeah, I thought that let me conclude here. So these indigenous forest management systems, you will see that they have evolved. The title of this symposium is very nice. I appreciate it. They are actually heritage sites. These heritage sites, they have been there for, we do not know since when, but hundreds and hundreds of years. And these indigenous forest management systems, they have nice, they take care of equity. They also very quick policy decisions. Actually, they do not have any written laws, sometimes are rules and regulations, but the customary laws are there, which are not written, but at the same time, and what the best thing of the part of the customary laws is that one Darbar meeting can review the existing laws, rules, and they can make it well suited to the present system. So thank you very much, the organizers, for giving me this opportunity to share some of my work and also introduce the Northeast region and the people of Northeast with the international community and international, you can say, people. Thank you so much. What you see in this picture, just what you see in this picture is in one stream emerging out of the forest. Okay, that's it.
Yes, I wish we could expand time for getting into detail because your presentation was really interesting. But we need to wrap up and move to the next speaker. So we'll come back to the discussion for questions.